Hey everyone, it's Chris and welcome back to the Ridge. Today, I want to show you how to avoid spending $10,000 or more on a whole home generator and still have hassle-free, reliable backup power when the lights go out. Now this setup looks simple, but if you just throw a generator in a shed like this, it's not going to run. So let's do a deep dive on this shed and I'll show you exactly what you need to do in order to make it work perfectly and save thousands. Join us.
Sweet Maple Ridge Farms. Come on down, everybody. Go!
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. So I want to go over our generator shed. I first want to talk about the problem that I was trying to solve with this. So I wanted a generator solution. I wanted the generator to be outside, out of the elements. I didn't want it in the garage because that takes up space. I wanted a generator solution and a shed solution that made it easy to start the generator on a weekly basis. I didn't want to have to pull it out of the garage and, put gas in it and all that kind of stuff because that's sort of a hassle. And I also wanted to make sure that the generator was always hooked up and ready for when the power goes out, because it goes out here quite frequently out on the ridge with the weather we get. So this shed here solved all the problems, but this didn't come easy. I had to do a lot of trial and error to make this work, but I'm going to share with you what I've learned and exactly what you need to do in order to make this work. Now, in order to make this work, you need 3 critical things, and without these things, it's not going to work. You just cannot take a generator and put it in a shed. It's going to overheat. The carbon monoxide detector is going to shut the engine down. And most of the generators nowadays, the modern ones anyway, have a built-in carbon monoxide detector, and it will not run inside of a closed space like this. So you have to have ventilation. So as you can see, this generator here, I have 2 critical pieces of equipment here. I first have the exhaust over here. This is made by Zombie Box, and I got this off of Amazon. It was $100. It came with a couple different adapters, and it hooked up to this generator super easy. And I'll show you around the side here what that looks like when it's running. The second thing that we have is a ventilation fan here that I bought from Amazon. I'll put a link to that right here. That was right around $70, and I have it plugged in to the generator. So that when the generator fires up, almost immediately the fan kicks on. Now, some might say, well, you really, you need to let the generator warm up before you put a load on it and whatever. That thing takes up such a small amount of electricity. I'm not really concerned about it. So when we start this generator, the exhaust goes out the Zombie Box. And here's another thing, it's super quiet. If you were to pick up one of these Zombie Box exhaust systems, it really, really muffles the sound. So you can use that Zombie Box exhaust system if you live in a neighborhood or a development. So that's really, really important. But that fan moves enough air within this generator shed that it allows for all the airflow that this Predator needs. And if you stick around to the end of the video, we're going to do a test run. I'm going to let this thing run for 3 hours. I'm going to put a thermometer in here, and I will show you how warm it gets here inside this generator shed after this thing has been running for 3 hours. So stick around for that. And then I want to talk about the third thing that you need for this generator shed to work, and that's airflow. You need to be able, this thing cannot be airtight. Air has to be able to get in here to not only feed the engine, but it also needs airflow. So you need a turnover of air. So the way I built this generator shed is I used 5-quarter boards here on the side. I'll show you that now. And you can see that I have cracks in the side, so that allows for more than enough air to come through. And also, when you close this door here, it doesn't close tightly. It allows for air to come in on this side and also on the other side. So it gets plenty of airflow. So those are the 3 things you need in order to make this to work. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and start the generator. I'm going to show you how it works and just how easy it is to have it run inside this enclosure. So the first thing you want to do is turn on the on switch. And then you want to double tap the start stop. See the fan kicked on immediately. Now let's close this up. And I'll take you around the other side. So guys, this thing's in here running right now. It runs perfectly. And the way that we have it is I have Romex going inside the house. And at the end of each Romex, I have a receptacle adapter that plugs into the generator here. And then on the other side of that Romex, I have a couple outlets that I put. I put one by our refrigerator. I put another one by our pellet stove. And then I put a couple more throughout our house so that if we need to run anything else inside our house when the power goes off, we certainly can do that. So I wanted to make this so that it was super easy to get this thing going when the power goes out. I didn't want to hassle with extension cords. I didn't want to mess around with having to lug the generator out or anything like that. So this thing is perfect. It has a home and it runs absolutely amazing. And you can see it's really, really quiet. So if you live in a neighborhood, this is definitely the absolute way to go. So while this thing's running, guys, I want to test out this remote here. This is the remote that comes with most Predator generators. As I said, this is a Predator 5000, so this is the remote that came with it. So the question is will this start and stop the generator while it's inside of this shed? And the answer is yes, it will. All right, guys, I have my camera set up here on here. I'm gonna go inside and let's see if it works from inside. Guys, so that's great, it works. I do want to say a little thing about this remote here. Let me show you what I mean. Guys, I do want to say a little thing about this remote. Let me go in here and turn this off and I'll show you what I mean here. Let me turn this off. Okay, so the manufacturer recommends that you keep the switch in the off position, okay? When it's in the on position, it does have, it does drain the battery a little bit. It does have an alternator in here, so it does charge the battery as the engine is going. But if you were to leave this switch on for maybe a week or more, the battery is going to die, okay? So you'll want to leave the switch off. Well, when the switch is off, the remote does not work, okay? So the switch has to be on in order for the remote to work. I also want to point out that if you were to leave the switch on and the remote will obviously work. If you were to leave the switch on, it seems like there's a timer in there and it times out so that if this is on for any more than maybe say 15 or 20 minutes, the remote will not work. So that's something to keep in mind. You just can't keep this, you just can't keep the switch on and then expect the remote to work after a day or two. It's going to time out after, I think it's like 15 or 20 minutes or something like that with the testing that I've done. So that's just something to keep in mind. What I would recommend to do is just keep the power switch off and just come out and, and turn it on whenever you need to. Now, you can see in here, it is a little bit of a mess. I do have an extension cord in here in the event that I do want to run some power out here into the yard or whatever I need to do. But yeah, but guys, one thing you need to do is make sure that you're doing this safely. Now, what have we done to make sure that this is safe? I've tested the temperature in here. We're going to do that in just a minute. I'm going to let this thing run for 3 hours, and I'm going to let you know what the temperature is at the end. But also, guys, we have a carbon monoxide detector, multiple, in fact, inside the house. So you're going to want to make sure that your carbon monoxide situation is dealt with, because carbon monoxide will kill you. I also just want to point out how I drilled a hole in here through the foundation to get our wires through. I'm going to put some spray foam in there just to seal things off, and then top it off with some caulk. But this is what I did. Let me show you the tool that I used to easily drill this, and it worked really, really easy. So guys, this is the tool that I used to drill through the foundation. It didn't take long at all. It's concrete block. It goes right through it, and then you can put the wires in there, and you can have a pretty much a whole home solution, a generator for, just the cost of the generator and the cost of a little bit of wiring and some electrical outlet or receptacles. Another thing I want to point out about this generator box is that it makes the generator super accessible. So it's always there. All I have to do is start it weekly. I just open up the door and I start it. And that's one of the most important things you can do with a generator, is make sure that you start it on a regular basis. So it makes it really easy to make sure that this thing is going to start anytime we need it. All right, guys, so now we're going to do a 3-hour test. So it's 9:50 in the morning right now. It's right around 27 degrees outside here. So I'm going to start this up. I'm going to put this temperature gauge in here, and we're going to see what the temperature of this thing is after 3 hours of this thing running. So let's get this thing started. I'm going to put this temperature gauge right there. See, we started at 28.5. We're going to get this thing started. We're going to close it up. And let's see where the temperature is after 3 hours. All right, guys, so it's been 3 hours. Let's go out here and see what the temperature is. As you can see, it's still running perfectly. Go ahead and open this up. 43 degrees. That's great. All right, guys, so you guys can see this generator shed. This thing has saved us thousands. There is no need for you to buy a whole home or a whole house generator whenever you can build a generator shed just like I did. And using these components and using the zombie box in conjunction with the exhaust fan, this thing works perfectly. So anyway, guys, I hope this helped you. That's it. That's the video. If you want to be an OG Mapler like those amazing folks listed here, and you want to continue learning how to rely less and create more from high atop the Allegheny Plateau, guys, please like and subscribe. And guys, we'll see you next time out on the ridge.